Hi everybody, welcome to a solo Vikendi chicken dinner on the PlayStation 4, and I thought I'd explain the PCTI strategy that I've been using well, for the last week or so. So PCTI, what it stands for is play the centre and then improvise. So instead of D23 where we try and get as far away from the flight path as we can, in PCTI, what I do on Vikendi and the other maps is I have a specific place in the centre of the map, well, near the centre, that I always go to and loot, and then I play from there. So on Vikendi, I always go to that location there. There's like a triangle of 3 sets of houses, and I go to the most northern set. It's kind of just north of is it Mansion? Is it? And I tend to find there's enough kit in this area to really get you started, and then from that I see where the next circle goes, and then I just improvise. I decide what I'm going to do next. What this leads to is kind of more exciting games because you get more kills. Probably my win rate will dip, I would have thought, and definitely my top 10 rate dips. Because you're giving up one of the biggest advantages that you can have in PUBG, which is the choice of where you go into the circle from. Now, as you're coming in, as you can see here, I've got a guy to my left, so I know that what I need to do is, as soon as I get into my building, I need to get the basics, and then I need to go and kill him, because now I know where he is now. He should know where I am if he's been looking around using third person's perspective. But if I leave it and just ignore him, he could reposition and ambush me. So it encourages and forces a more aggressive style of play. With D23E, you very rarely get into early gunfights. In fact, all of the gunfights tend to happen in the last 5-10 minutes of the game. Where with playing the centre and then improvising, you get yourself into all sorts of trouble at the beginning of the game as you're making your way out into the circle. And what it's doing, it's getting me into more gunfights. I'm getting a lot more kills, which makes me better at gunfights. And it's also making PUBG a little more interesting. It's playing it in a different way. So I'm pretty lucky, as you can see, with this particular loot. Level 3 helmet, level 2 vest, Tommy gun, G36 with a 3x sight. More than enough kit to go on a little initial firefight with this chap, and then make my way out. And it forces you into lots of situations that you probably would never come across, or rarely come across, when you're playing D23E, when you're getting right to the edge of the map and bringing your way in. You're in lots more situations where more than one player are pulling up a compound at the same time. You find yourselves in situations where you're forced to run perhaps with guns and loot that you wouldn't normally choose, because you simply don't have the choices and the luxury of the time you have, that when you play the edge of the map where you can have a whole town to yourself. And in fact, even in the few short games that I've been playing with PCTI, I've had to use the Vector a lot more, and I've come to really enjoy using the Vector. Now, it's a specialist weapon, it fires very fast and doesn't have a big magazine, so you've got to be on target, but it takes people down very, very quickly. And as I say, it really encourages you to play aggressively, because if somebody is near you and you know where they are, it pays to investigate and kill them before they have an opportunity to find where you are. And that the grand scheme of this, the reason why I'm doing it, is to get better at gunfights and ultimately to win more chicken dinners, but also to help me in my duo and squad games, because I'm not very good at duos and squads. A lot of the time, my lack of gunfighting skills and being in sort of one-on-one situations mean that I don't feel I'm as good as the other players, and I probably are letting people down on my squads when I could be doing better. But by putting in lots of this practice in solos, where I'm forcing myself to get into gunfights and into sticky situations, it means that when I get into squads, I've got a better arsenal of skills and tactics and strategies to use that way. So I've heard there's been a gunfight over here, someone's been killed. I'm creeping around very, very quietly just to see if I can hear where this guy is. and then it turns out he does start moving in a little bit. And then, so that's the essence of PCTI. You go to the same place on each map. You're roughly in the middle of the map. You loot up, and then you see where the next circle goes, and then you make your decision from there. So this guy's going to the compound where I went to, so it's a case of just waiting for him to get into the open where I know he can't have any cover at all, and then let him have a black with the G36. There we go, and that means I can carry on. Now, there's nothing wrong when you're doing this strategy to doing a hard shift. You know, if the circle moves over towards the coast and you come across a vehicle and you want to move all the way to the coast, so that gives you a clean run in fact really turning the PCTI strategy into more of a D23E where you're playing the edge, you can do that. And also remember, although you're playing the centre at the beginning of the game, you're not playing the centre for the rest of the game. You know, this isn't that sort of strategy. You play this, you drop in the centre, and then you move off from there. But then you're improvising. So, for example, if the circle moves off a little bit, and you know that you've got loads of people, maybe half the map is coming towards you, you're not going to stay on that edge of the circle. You're going to push further towards the middle. But then as the circles get smaller and you know that you haven't got people behind you, you're purely, you know, playing the edge. So what we'll do now is we'll skip to the last 10 minutes of the game, and I'll do my normal sort of commentary on what I'm thinking, and what I'm doing, and why I'm doing to ultimately get the chicken dinner. So the circle has shifted east of the river, sort of just south of Cosmodrome, and I've pushed the cross, and we're into the last 10 minutes of the game. I can hear gunfire over to my right, sort of past those buildings. So I'm trying to avoid going into the circle directly up that road and past those buildings, because I'm really worried that people are going to be there. So what I'm doing here is I'm looping around and taking advantage of the way that the circle comes in very, very slowly on Vikendi. That's why I love this map so much. You have the time to make tactical and strategic decisions about what you're going to do that will give you an advantage. On Vikendi, if you just rush ahead of the blue, you'll find yourself getting a long way ahead of the blue and into situations where people can come behind you. So I've got a little bit of cover here. Again, I'm not safe yet. I'm not in the safe area, but there's no need to push any further. This is a time for having a look around. Can I see people coming in? Have I got people behind me? Have I got people on my flanks? Are there people in front? And just looking around. Again, I'm constantly moving because I don't want a sniper lining me up. The blue's behind me, so it's a case of let's move in. Again, I can hear that gunfire over to my right, so I don't really want to go in that way because I can't see them. And you're always trying to avoid the unknown. You always want the advantage. So the circle's gone in, and I sort of go down here, go prone here, just to see if I can peek over the top to see what that gunfire was. Has somebody shot somebody? And there's now a loot box which they're looting, because you kind of have this golden period of time when you hear some gunfire that's close and somebody dies, which you can see in your kill feed, when that person, if they're being a little bit silly because you shouldn't be looting at this point in the game, if they run over to that loot box and for those few seconds they're not looking around, you know, they're in the inventory screen and they're sorting themselves out. You know, I'm a big fan of full boosts as you're going into the final circles, because there's 9 left alive with me, so I'm getting my full boost on. Still got about 40 seconds to go to the circle moves. I do see someone to my left, sort of up that way in the second, but he's a long way off. He does actually start having a crack at me with his rifle in a minute, but doesn't really. It does me a little bit of damage, but I managed to get in. Again, plenty of time, no need to rush. I've got the blue behind me. Let's just see what information we can gather. Where's the gunfire coming from? There we go. So he's starting to take a few pot shots at me. So at this point, I make the decision. Let's get safe. Let's get into the safe area, because you know, last thing you want to do at this stage of the blue is get into a gunfight where you're not safe, because time compresses and the blue really hurts. You know, you don't want you, and you end up losing loads of stuff. So I get safe, get into position, see if I can see this guy as well. Where is he? Can I see him? Can I get some bullets into him? Very nervous that people are already in the circle behind me. Get my Vector out. As you can see, I'm running a Vector, got an extended mag, and I've got an M16 with a rather nifty silencer on and a 3 times. Managed to get a 4 times a minute off a dead body. So I can't see this guy. Just having a look round. I know he's somewhere around here, so I'm just kind of hedging my bets, if you like, just jiggling and jaggling, going left to right, just looking for where he can be. But again, I'm very nervous. Behind me, is anybody there? You know, the really savvy players, what they'll be doing is they'll be checking their sector of the map they'll be in, you know, running from side to side. Just having a look behind me, because that's where that gunfire was coming from. But I am right on the edge of the circle, so you know, who knows what could be down there. So I see the guy. He's really a long way in the distance. He's by that rock. Again, I've got the M16 with the 3 times, but I have got a suppressor, so it's worth a punt just to, you know, do his armour a little bit damage, because I could be up against this guy in the final circles. I'm not going to kill him with the M16 at this range, because a headshot isn't it will do him damage, but it won't kill him, and he'll have enough time to move out of the way. But you never know, when you see somebody and you think, "Oh right," you know, and you've got a suppressor especially, it's worth having a pot. Just bear in mind that even with the suppressor, you are giving away your position, because people will know, alright, there's some guy with a suppressor behind me. The other good thing that can happen is it forces that person to move, and they may even try and return fire on you and give away their position to the people around you. So I've kind of put that off. You know, he's too far away. Grenade goes off to my right. Nobody's died. 6 people left alive, including me. Let's take a quick painkiller so we can stay at full boost, and we've got to think about moving into the circle in about 40 seconds. So again, we've got loads and loads of time. Just listening out, using that third person's perspective, locking my position, but turning the camera on by pressing that top right shoulder button. My PlayStation controller does the same on the Xbox. Just looking around, not making any commitments. You know, there's no point showing yourself at this stage. More gunfire to my right, so I know it's pretty hot over there. So I want to avoid going right, but I'm nervous about this guy who's in the distance, who's that way. So just having a quick look, there he is. He's gone behind that rock, so I know he's there. 10 seconds to the circle moves. Now let's slowly follow the circle, and you'll see now a great example of why you go very slowly with the circle on Vikendi. Because look, see the guy in the ghillie suit moved first. He made the mistake. He moved before I am. I can see where he is. He's got no idea I'm behind him. No idea. Get the Vector out. And it's good night, Vienna. So I know there's nobody in this little sector where I am. 5 people left, including myself. I do grab some of his boosts because I'm getting a bit low. But having a quick look round, because people would have heard that. See if my guy in the distance is trying to creep up on me. I know I'm in. Another person dead. Again to the right. See if he's got any boosts. He has. I think if I quickly see if he's got... I'm looking for 4 times. Put the 4 times on. Very happy now. Let's take another boost. Might as well stay at full boost. 4 people left, including myself. I know I've got a guy far off to my left, and I've got people to my right. I consider swapping to the AWM and think, no, let's stick with the M16. I've got a silence for the M16. The AWM is a great gun, but that one-shot kill, your enemies have to be... Right, I see the guy in the distance on that rock. So now it's time to think, right, where is he? Can I get eyes on him to pop him? Because I'm going to get the suppressor. So, you know, I can risk firing at people, because although I am giving my away position, I'm not giving my away position. So he's throwing Molotovs at the other guy off to the left. So finish him. 3 left, including myself. So I know there's the guy at the rock over there, and there's somebody else. So I know he's over there, because the guy was throwing Molotovs at him. So the question is, where's the other guy? I'm not taking any fire, so they don't know where I am. Got about 15 seconds before the circle comes in, but it's close. You know, it's pretty close to me. I've got cover in front of me, just looking what cover am I going to zigzag to? Probably go to the tree on the left first, then make my way in. So go behind this tree, and there's those rocks. Somebody pops a grenade over there, so that kind of indicates where somebody might be. So just getting in here, having a good look round. So there's my buddy, the one I've been sort of tracking all this time. He's gone behind that rock. I can't see him. Right, so he's being fired at. He's just been killed by that guy in front of me, which I can see. So this is my enemy now. He's gone behind that rock. He's gone behind that tree. Right, he's spotted me now because he's hidden. So let's think about getting safe, getting the Vector out. Dunge him there. He gets behind the tree. Get the Molotov out. Let's throw a Molotov behind this tree to get him moving. He's running. He's come out. There he is. Vector finishes him off. There we go. We've got the play the centre, then improvise the PCTI chicken dinner. Hope that was helpful. If you've got any questions, put them down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.